Hello, this is Ben Williams from the SortSol Group, and welcome to this introduction to the business model canvas. In this video, we'll start with a definition of what business model is, an overview of the business model canvas approach, an illustration of the canvas in action describing a literacy program, and then a few next steps for getting started. So let's start with a business model definition. When we describe a business model, what we mean is the rationale for how an organization creates, delivers, and sustains value. The word value is very intentional because this is both the revenue that's being generated as well as the mission impact of your work. The business model canvas approach is taking the multiple complex parts of a business model and putting them onto a single page to describe them all together. The added benefit of this is it streamlines your viewing so that you can consider, design, and communicate the value that you're providing in a much clearer way. Lastly, it allows you to test, model, and shift your directions as necessary by clarifying your assumptions and creating testable hypotheses. This helps you improve your learning as well as make changes and more impact at a faster rate. Since it was first introduced as the business model canvas, there have been several different models that take a slightly different twist of the business model canvas and have been used, but they all share the same general principles about communicating value and how it's delivered in the environment. The Lean Canvas and the business model Yacht are two other models that can be used. We prefer the business model canvas because it gives a picture not just of how services and programs are delivered, but how they're created, developed, and sustained over time. So let's take a look. This is an overview of the business model canvas with a leading question that can help fill in each one of the blocks that make up your business model. As you can see, it can be overwhelming to take a look at all at once, so let's walk through it step by step. Starting from the far right side are the stakeholders. These are the primary targets of the program, organization, or collaborative. The value proposition, which is in the center, is the core of what you're delivering. What is it that you're helping to solve? What needs are you reaching? What aspirations are you helping them meet? What is the channel that you reach them? Is the pathway to providing those services and reaching the stakeholders? And then what kind of relationship are you creating? Relationships are very important in transformational change work. How are we creating those bonds and relationships? And then what results from providing the services? That's the outcomes. The revenue that's generated from the operations, as well as the mission impact from the services. On the left side is really the back end and back room that's often invisible to the external community. This is the key activities that you're providing to create the value, the resources necessary to do so, and the partners that are integral in providing those resources and activities. Taken together from there, you can ascertain what are the costs associated with the business model. And as a whole, then, you have the canvas approach to showing every part of your work. So let's take a look using a literacy organization's program as an illustration. This is at a very high level, with not much detail, but provides a good sense of how an organization can use this to demonstrate how they create value. So for this literacy program, they seek to reach at-risk youth in schools. What they do is simplify the lessons to help overcome barriers. That's the value they're offering the at-risk youth. They reach them through community centers, which is where they deliver the training and mentorship. And the relationship that they create as a mentor and partner for the at-risk youth is really at the core of how they're able to reach their goals. When they're successful, this leads to an increased achievement in terms of academics, as well as a decrease in the disparities between the racial and income gaps that are seen in the schools today. This only describes the service delivery side of the value. Another key stakeholder are the funders, and they are paying for that increase in achievement and decrease in disparities through grants that the organization writes and that subsidize the work that is being done. Now, how is this service delivered? Through tutoring, grant writing, and referrals. Those 3 activities also have resources that are associated with them: the sites and locations for the services, the mentors that are providing the tutoring, and the curriculum that makes up the lesson plans. Bringing this all together are the key partners for the literacy organization, in particular the school district, which provides the curriculum and referrals for participation, volunteers who serve as the mentor and tutors in the program, and the community centers, which are the sites for reaching and delivering the services. When we take a look at those activities, resources, and partners, we can understand how the costs are driven for the organization. The tutor fees are waived by the volunteers, which is why they're highlighted in blue, along with the tutoring activities on this left side. The curriculum is paid for, the sites are rented out, and there's also administration and coordination costs associated with delivering the program. So taken together, this is a perspective of how this program creates value in the community. Now, are you ready to build your own business model canvas? We certainly hope so. But before you do, there's a few principles that can help make the process a bit easier for you. First, define the scope. Are you seeking to map out a program, an organization, or a collaborative? Defining that scope kind of sets the boundaries for what will be inside the business model canvas. Secondly, consider, what do you want to achieve with the canvas? Are you seeking to have a way to communicate to external audiences about how you create value? Or are you seeking to use it internally to understand how multiple programs may align together? Or are you using it as a way to plan for new ideas or investments in the future? Whatever your goals are, setting them up front can help you make sure that you design your canvas in a way that's useful to you. A common pitfall that we've seen is organizations that mix both what is today with what they hope to be in the future. So be sure to define a time period. Is this what we have today in a current model, or is this a mix of what we hope to see in the future? You can have both in one canvas. It's just important that you make it clear which are which. And that's a part of telling the right story. Once you have that set of goals and the scope, you can tell the story at the level of detail necessary. If it's very high level, then don't use many blocks, perhaps 1 to 2 for any one part of the business model canvas. If it's very granular and detailed, then it's connected to 40 pages of spreadsheets of financial projections, then it may need more detail in the canvas as well. Just be sure you know what type of story you wish to tell. Lastly, be visual. This can be through color coding of different segments, of different cost types. You can use different shapes. The best business model canvases that we've seen add visuals through images as a way to communicate what's going on. Lastly, we want to share a couple applications so you can see how this could be used to add value for your organization. In our work, it's most often used as a way to assess and adjust what our current business model is as a baseline before making changes or understanding what to do next. This could be as in a deeper business planning effort of considering future investments in your organization or a new venture to create impact, and you wish to plan what will it take to do that. And lastly, one of the most popular ways that we've seen it being used is to understand the portfolio of services either within an organization and how each of their programs line up together, or across organizations in a collaboration to see how the partners can align to advance their impact. Thank you very much for joining us on this video. If you do have any questions, do not hesitate to send us an email at info@sortsolgroup.org. We love to see how people are using the business model canvas, so feel free to send yours to us and we'd be happy to give you any feedback that we see. And lastly, the copy of the business model canvas and the leading questions that can help guide the creation of your canvas are available on our website.